Aug versus M16, red versus blue, up versus down. Hi, I'm Yoko of Yoko Gaming, and in this video we're going to be covering which one is better for you and why you should use one over the other. Alright, so this is something quick I whipped up in Photoshop. I basically just put something that only affected muzzle concealment, just so I could get the details page up. Cut them out, put it in Photoshop, you know, kind of crude, but whatever, you get the point. I drew the arrows to the first section here because I think this is what you should be focusing on when comparing these guns. Everything else is pretty much identical all the way down the line here, except the horizontal recoil and the vertical recoil. The M16 goes straight up and down. That's just how it is. I don't know why it's negative. I mean, it shouldn't be pulling anywhere else, but it does go straight up and down, and it does do it less than the AUG. The AUG does have a little bit of jump between the second and third bullet when it's being fired. The recoil is a little bit more on the AUG. I would say it's still absolutely manageable, especially with attachments. It's nothing to cry about. But technically the M16 has a more manageable recoil. I want to throw that out there. Centering speed, I don't really notice this too much because I don't hold my breath with either one of these guns, but if that's what you're into, hey, just know that the M16 is a little bit faster in that. But going over the first category, I think everyone should care about. The AUG has a 54 damage versus a 50 from the M16, which means the AUG has more base damage. And you can see this carry on through every one of the statistics because it also has a higher effective damage range, which means you are going to be able to get more of the damage, a higher damage, further out without it dropping off. And so this is great. Fire rate, the M16 is excelling up close. It has less effective range, but it has a higher fire rate. Now, the other point to offset that is that it has a lower bullet velocity. So you are firing the rounds faster, but they are reaching your target slower, if that makes sense. And the AUG actually picks that up, and it says, well, because I have a heavier bullet that's doing more damage, it's actually being fired slower. I mean, you know, it's good balancing, but it's actually reaching the target faster, and that is some damage. I mean, it's the same, like I said, base damage, melee is the same, everything else is the same. Even the ammo, reload speed, everything is the same, almost identical. Like I said, big discrepancy. M16 wins the accuracy and the strafe, but the AUG wins the power stats that you should be worried about. So right now the AUG is the clear winner. Now, one of the things about the AUG for me that I see as an advantage is it has a built-in scope, which I personally like, you know, just on its own. If you don't, feel free to change the build and use a red dot. But so basically the build that I've been using is the 19.8 task force barrel. This is going to increase your damage, your effective range, so if you're playing firebomb and some other ones, this is great, and your bullet velocity to get those bullets there faster. Now, you do have a downside of vertical and horizontal recoil, which sounds bad, but it's really not that bad. We're also going to help that out here. So I like to use a steady aim laser, mainly if I'm playing Nuketown or something up close. But you can easily drop this off and go for something like the field agent grip, which will help offset the loss that you're going to lose from this barrel. Now, I went back and forth with this barrel about just using effective range or just using fire rate. I would stick between the task force, the strike team, and the rapid. I have no use for the cavalry. The 17, you lose so much range, it's kind of ridiculous. And the match grade, just unless you're going for just extreme long range, again, firebomb kind of thing, do you. But I stay with the task force. After that, we're going to go to the magazine. I use the 45 round drum. To me, there's no need to use the 54 and sacrifice 15% speed. You could go for a jungle style reload. I think that's good. I mean, you have 30 rounds in the clip. It's a 3-round burst. You're going to be taking down people pretty much in 1 to 2 bursts. So this is viable, but if you're going to upgrade by 15 rounds, so, you know, 2 to 3 more kills per clip, and it doesn't cost me any ADS speed, so I'm definitely going to use that. Handle, I'm going all the way to airborne if I can, but so right now I can't. I'm just going to use the Serpent. 25% is a must, and 10% sprint to fire decrease. I'm not really too concerned with that because we're going to pick that up in the stock, which is the 10%, which will cancel that out, and that's my well-rounded build. So now we have the beautiful M16. If you love using the regular iron sights on it, be my guest. It's not bad, but with this Cold War, you don't have any ADS magnification with the iron sights, so you definitely need some kind of scope almost at all times, unless you're using like an MP5 or something. And I have fell in love with this. I never thought I would ever say I'd fell in love with the holographics. I've traditionally stayed away from them, but I do like this. And then I love using the little V reticle that I've got here. It's very clean. I can just put it right on their head. All the others seem pretty like destructive on the screen. You can't really see anything, but that's what I love using there. A little 3D chip. All right, for the build itself, assuming you use an optic, Again, I skip over muzzles because you're either staying 100% off a radar or you're not. And either way, I don't see a big deal in it. I mean, you can try to use it to get some recoil, but the M16 doesn't have a lot of recoil in itself, so there's no need to stick with it for me. The barrel, I'm using the Task Force barrel. Remember, it has less damage than the Aug, so if I take it off and just use the rapid fire, it has 50. So I definitely have to hit 2 to 3 shots. Where here, it's kind of leading off 2, 2.5, so if someone's low, you don't necessarily need that third shot. Again, you're going to take a hit on the vertical and horizontal recoil, but don't worry about that, as you can pick that up in the underbarrel attachment, Field Agent. I don't use steady aim for this one because it does fire faster than the Aug, so I feel that you just you can just get real close and just spray them down. I mean, you don't really need to have that much hip fire accuracy if you're getting that close with an M16. Again, the 45 mag, I'm not trying to lose any ADS time, especially if I'm running around. And I'm using the Serpent. Again, if I had the airborne, I would absolutely recommend the airborne. Okay, so with extreme accuracy, the M16 and the higher fire rate makes it great for up close. However, the Aug still has the 2-shot capability with putting 2 bullets into the head instead of 3, where the M16 needs 3. This is going to lead me to take the Aug to number 1 in my view. Now, I could be wrong, but hey, you know, this is an opinion video. So comment down below, please tell me what you think. Which one do you like? Or are you using a different gun? Don't be afraid to like the video, subscribe to see the next one. I'll see you guys later. Peace.